This is Cammo. Cammo's awesome. He can retrieve all kinds of objects, keys, you name it. The dummy launcher, he's awesome. And when he first started doing the board and train, it was cool out, but now it's full on summer and it's hot out, and that's what I want to talk about, is working your dog in the heat. Don't do it. I mean, if you're gonna do it, it's not too bad today, and we're in the shade. I might have Cammo do 3 or 4 retrieves, something like that, and then we'll just stop. Always look for the dog, look at the dog's tongue. If the dog's tongue is real red, that means that it's pumping blood up there because it's trying to cool off. Now you have a couple options if you want to work the dog. You could put a backpack on the dog, and the backpack's right by its lungs. You could put ice in there, you can put ice packs in there, and that'll help keep the dog cool. Even if the dog can get into water, the water has to be cool enough to cool the dog off. So what I read, this was a while ago, I believe they said if the water is 58 degrees or above, it's not going to help cool the dog down. So keep that in mind. Dogs overheat all the time. All the time. They're nothing like you. We cool off, we do better in heat. In other words, you know, we'll run a marathon, 26 miles, a human can, in just over 2 hours. I can't, but a human can. A dog, there isn't a dog in the world that can do that in 75-degree weather. It's impossible. The dog will overheat. Wild dogs, like say a wolf, they'll go after the prey animal, and if they can't catch the prey animal, at a certain point they have to shut down. That's the same with all these predators, cheetahs, everything. There's a certain amount of time that they have to get the prey animal, and if they can't get there, they're just going to shut down and they'll try again later. That's a fact. The gray wolf only gets like 1 out of 10 of its kills, and it gains weight in the winter. It does better in the winter. It's a fact. So when you're working your dog in the summer, if you're doing retrieves, do it early morning. Cammo. No, sit. Do it early morning, or you know, in the evening or at night. But you want to make sure that you want to keep the dog's attitude up. Quit on a high note. I might do 3 or 4 retrieves with the dog and then stop. If you're in one of these states, it's hot all the time. You can't even leave the dog in the car. So remember that. It's illegal. Doesn't matter if the AC's on or whatever. Cars fail, man. If your dog's in there and the AC's on, the car can fail and your dog will die. It will just shut down and die, and there's nothing that you're going to be able to do about it. The heat is a real problem for most animals. That's why humans are so successful. That's one of the reasons. Walking on 2 legs is more efficient than 4. It is. It's a fact. The dog is great in the snow and in the cold. They are. The Iditarod, it's, you know, they're running when it's really, really cold out. So keep that in mind. I always see people running around the city with their dogs, and the dogs are always, you know, being drugged behind the humans. Watch people that walk with their dogs. The dog is always lagging behind and looks miserable. Of course, the dog will go with you because they're a dog, you know, but that doesn't mean that the dog's having a good time. If you want to run with the dog, run it around the block, maybe 2 blocks, and that's it. But watch it. Don't overheat the dog. And if you're going to do retrieves, remember that the dog has to, you know, they cool down. They have to breathe. They breathe through their mouth. So if the dog can't pant, they're miserable doing retrieves when it's hot out. I'm not saying that if Cammo was 4 years old and dove hunting and the owner shot a dove and it was hot out, it was September, Cammo would go get the bird, of course. But it makes it more difficult for the dog. Dogs die every year of overheating. I just heard about somebody who had their dog in a car in Manhattan. They were driving, the air conditioner failed. It was a small car, it overheated, the dog overheated. And, you know, by the time that they got the dog to the vet, the dog died. Be very, very careful. Very, very careful. They have cooling vests, by the way, that supposedly work pretty good. Get a really high-tech one, get the best one you can get. But I've found that if I'm gonna work a dog, I find that backpacks work great because the packs are right by their lungs, and you can put ice packs in there. Works awesome, you know, but you still want to concentrate on keeping the dog, you know, you don't want the dog to be miserable. You want to do it in the shade. Dogs are nothing like you. They're absolutely nothing like you. They're mammals, you know. Your dog, Cammo, is more like a polar bear than a human. It's a fact. He's covered in fur. He is. He's covered. This is a very young puppy. He's very good. He knows that I'm not paying attention to him. But it is. It's a fact. Your dog is more like other animals. You're very unique on this planet. So many ways. So monitor your dog when it's hot out. Don't work your dog. Don't train your dog when it's super hot out, because you don't want the dog to be miserable. You want the dog to have a good attitude. Quit on a high note. Never get to the point where your dog, you know, doesn't want to do it. I guarantee you, if you're doing retrieves and it's hot out, the dog's body will tell him, don't do the retrieve. You'll get a refusal. Just get a few really good retrieves, and that's your rule of thumb anyway when doing retrieves. If you can take the dog out and have it do a perfect retrieve, just quit. Like, we'll do a retrieve right now with Cammo, and then, you know, because he helped me out with this video, then we'll be done. We'll come out later and do something else. Cammo, here, heel. Sit. Cammo, hold. Heel. No, heel. Sit. That's pretty good, buddy. That's good. Good boy. So we'll quit. He did a retrieve. He only did one, but you know, he did it. He did it pretty good. Look for that perfect retrieve and just stop. End on a high note. Put the dog up wanting to do it more. If you put the dog up and it's just totally exhausted, no good. Do not do that. It wouldn't matter what we were doing. If we were just doing working sit or whatever and we were in the sun, you can make the dog miserable real quick. The beach, that's another thing. If you're taking the dog to the beach, they don't like the beach. There's zero shade. They don't like it. They don't. If you take the dog to the beach, make sure that there's shade. Make sure the dog can cool off in the ocean. Remember that, 58 degrees. If it's 58 degrees or above the water, it's not going to really help your dog cool down. They breathe through their mouth. They don't sweat except a little bit on their paws. They can't handle the heat as good as a human. It's a fact. I hate to disappoint everybody, but your dog shouldn't go in every situation that you can go. It just doesn't work like that. And if you are going to take your dog in real hot areas and stuff like that, invest in a vest and some cooling packs, or get one of the get an actual vest that they make. It's like a tactical vest for military dogs that I'm not really sure how it works. I think you get them wet and put them in the freezer or something. Do something like that, but make sure you're not making your dog miserable. I'll show you what I mean about Cammo's tongue. It's a pink color. See? It's a pink color. It's not real bright red. That's good. That means that he's not real hot. He's not panting. Check out your dog's gums and tongue. Make sure that they're not real bright red. If they're real bright red, get the dog and keep the dog cool. Pour some water on him, cool water. Get it in air conditioning. Do whatever you can do to get the dog out of the heat. Seriously, your dog can die. And a lot of people, you know, they don't realize this. It can die, it can overheat, and then, you know, it's your responsibility. Make sure that the dog's comfortable. Cammo. Cammy. I love this little guy. I'm gonna miss him when he goes home, I'll tell you that. Little Cammo. Hey, he tried to attack me. Did you see that? Cammo.